Hello! What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Champions League prediction video. Just like last time, I'm joined with the Bosnian FIFA Pro player, Hasib, and we're going to be doing the quarterfinals this time. The draw has just happened. We didn't do too hot on our last prediction video, did we, for the round of 16s? I got 5 out of 8. You got 4 out of 8, right?
Yeah, man, I missed, bro. But it happens.
The first match, Real Madrid versus PSG, was the only match we had a different prediction on. PSG just absolutely slipped there at the very end. You nearly got that right if it weren't for that defense.
They fumbled massively, bro. A huge choke. I had a feeling PSG would get it done, and, you know, they went up 2-0, and there was, like, what, half an hour left, and the league looked to be done, and then mistakes from, like, Hakimi, Marquinhos looked like freaking, I don't even know what he was playing, bro. He was terrible, and they ended up choking, but that's typical PSG fashion. I probably should have expected it, but, you know, props to Real Madrid. They turned it around.
Another team we heavily believed would go through was Ajax. I honestly counted on the Haller-Tadic partnership to pull through, and they just couldn't. Benfica scraped through for a goal. They didn't dominate the match, but they pulled through against a strong Ajax side. Atletico Madrid versus Manchester United as well. Yeah, I knew that was a flip of a coin matchup. I was surprised that Ronaldo couldn't do it against Simeone yet again.
I had thought, you know, United, Old Trafford, you know, maybe put aside all their struggles in the Premier League and the Cup games this season, and, you know, Atletico have been, like, pretty bang average in La Liga this season as well. Like, they've been leaking goals left, right, center. Obviously, I knew it would be very tight. My original prediction was, like, I think 2-1 United, and it wasn't meant to be. I think from when I watched the game, the fullbacks offered no support, so Ronaldo got no chances. I mean, you can't score if you don't get chances, obviously.
No Messi or Ronaldo going through to the quarterfinals for a second consecutive year. Another matchup that we both got absolutely wrong was Villarreal versus Juventus. Props to Villarreal for doing it, but Juventus just seem to be cursed now in the Champions League at this point. They always get knocked out by the quote-unquote underdogs. Villarreal played very well in the second leg, though, winning 3-0. I don't know, obviously Vlahovic got on the score sheet in the first leg, but yeah, a bit of a disappointing start to his Juventus season.
Yeah, I agree, and maybe it comes down to Allegri's tactics and how he's making the team play. Obviously, Juventus have a bit of a hole in their defense. You know, they've not looked great defensively, but, you know, I thought they'd get it done in Turin, especially with the home advantage. You know, they have the fans behind them. It was a shock to many. I wasn't expecting it either. Like, I know Villarreal have very talented players. You know, Unai Emery plays very defensive, as does Allegri. But, you know, I thought Juventus would be able to get it done, especially with Vlahovic. But, you know, they didn't.
At this point, they just look cursed in the Champions League. They made it so far at the past, just crashing to Real Madrid. In the final, they signed Ronaldo, couldn't do anything with him. He left, and same story continues, getting knocked out to the underdogs. But yeah, lots of interesting matches coming up for the quarterfinals. Let's just get straight into it, starting off with Benfica versus Liverpool. Now, obviously, Benfica have been very impressive. Being able to beat Ajax is not an easy task. Lots of people have been underrating this side, and fair play to them for making it this far. However, this is Liverpool we're talking about, in tremendous form, obviously. But the problem is Liverpool do have a tough schedule right now. They're trying to battle it out with Manchester City to grab that first place in the Premier League. 1 point behind them, and they have to play City soon at the Etihad. So Liverpool do have a tough task in front of them, as it's not going to be easy against Benfica. They shouldn't underestimate them. They could possibly be tired out. They're going to want to go all out for all these matches. They're not going to want to slip up in the Champions League as well. I feel like Benfica can put off a good fight, but I don't know if they can come out on top on this.
Yeah, so this is a really cool tie, I think. It's a good test for Benfica. You know, Liverpool look in amazing form as we saw them in Champions League against Inter at Anfield. They struggled a little bit. Granted, maybe they should have scored. They hit the post a few times, and Salah missed a few chances. But I think with the midfield Benfica play, which is, I think, a pivot of Weigl and Adel Taarabt, it's not going to work against Liverpool, and I think Liverpool will get the job done. But it's an interesting tie. They possess a lot of great talent. To Darwin Núñez, you know, he's kind of the eye this summer for a lot of clubs. It's going to be a very good tie, but I think in the end, as probably many of you expected, I know I've doubted Benfica before, but like this one, I cannot see Liverpool slipping, man. They're just in an incredible run of form. They play really entertaining football. They love to score goals, and their midfield will just devour Weigl and Taarabt, man. So I think obviously playing in Portugal is never an easy task. I think it'll be very tight. I'd say like 2-0 Liverpool, and I think they'll bring it to Anfield and win like 2-3-0 again. I think like 4-0 or 4-1 aggregate Liverpool is a safe result. I can't see them really slipping. Maybe I can see Benfica get a goal in Portugal with their home advantage, but I think overall I would go 4-1 Liverpool aggregate.
Like I said, props to Benfica. I mean, they were in a tough group already, having to face Bayern Munich. Obviously, Barcelona weren't in the best shape, but still, it's Barcelona. And they were able to make it in second in that group and make it past the round of 16s to an Ajax side everyone counted on to be the dark horse in the tournament yet again. I think it's going to be a tough task in Portugal. I do think Liverpool will come out on top at the end, but I think Benfica will make it interesting. I'm going to say Liverpool scrape through barely in Portugal for a 1-0 win. And then when it goes to Anfield, it will finish 3-0. I don't mean to disrespect Benfica. I'm honestly so amazed with how you guys have been doing lately, but this is Liverpool we're talking about. I think they would have had a better chance to make things interesting if it were possibly a different team, but yeah, they're definitely a massive underdog in this right now. Good luck to Benfica, but Liverpool got it for me.
Absolutely, bro. And I'd love for them to prove me wrong. Like, they have, a lot of star-studded talent in that side, and I'd love for them to come out on top. But, like, I'm just trying to be, like, reasonable and realistic. Liverpool have tremendous depth. Like, we saw they signed Luis Diaz, they have Mane, they have Firmino off the bench. Like, it's just a lot of tremendous depth. I think it will be tight in Portugal too, and in the end, I do agree with you. I think Liverpool will get it done, like 4-1 aggregate.
Next up, Manchester City versus Atletico Madrid. I feel like a lot of people are gambling on Manchester City on this, but I don't want to rule out Atletico Madrid. They just knocked out one Manchester team. Can they do it again? Obviously, Manchester City are in a lot better shape than United are right now. There's no denying that. Also to consider, Atletico Madrid are not in the best shape in La Liga, but still pulling through somewhat. Now that Diego Simeone was able to beat Cristiano Ronaldo, finally, after all these years, he's going to want to go all out. I don't think he's going to make it easy for Manchester City whatsoever. Some people might think this could possibly be a blowout, but I definitely think no matter what happens, it's going to be a close scoreline. I feel like it's safe to put money on Manchester City, but I'm going to go for a bit of a curveball here. I'm going to say that in the first leg, Manchester City grab a 1-0 win, and in the second leg, Atletico grab a 2-0 win.
Damn. Yo, that is crazy if that actually happens.
Yeah, I know it's not likely. Manchester City, such a fantastic side. They're always the favorites in the Champions League, and they always slip at some point. They obviously made it to the final last time, but I see them slipping sooner. Atletico Madrid just look like they want to go all out in the Champions League right now. It just seems like that's where all the motivation is right now. Simeone finally wants to win that trophy, and if he's able to beat Manchester United and then Manchester City, that would be absolutely fantastic. And definitely this season for Atletico would go down in history, whether or not they make it to the final or even win the whole thing. I'm going to say Atletico get the upset here. Definitely well aware I could be wrong on this.
Funny thing is, I can definitely see it happening because there's games where like City will have like 21 shots, 15 chances created, and 78% possession, and it'll finish like 0-0, man. And it's definitely a possibility, and I wouldn't rule it out with City, but I still backed them to get this done, and I actually backed them to go to the final of the Champions League again. For my score prediction, since the first game is at the Etihad, obviously Simeone will go there looking to counter-attack, kind of like he did at Old Trafford when you saw João Felix score from offside, and obviously their left back get the goal. It's a really tough game, man. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City at home, and I think they'll go to Madrid, and it'll finish 1-1. So I think City 3-1 aggregate.
City, fantastic side. I mean, it seems like their main goal at this point is just to grab a Champions League while they still have Pep. So they could obviously be super, super motivated, but it's a similar situation with Liverpool right now. They have a very competitive schedule right now in the Premier League, trying to stay on top, not slipping to Liverpool right now. And that match against Liverpool at the Etihad will mean also everything to them. Liverpool did get luckier in this draw. No disrespect to Benfica, but Liverpool probably would have struggled against Atletico. We've already seen it happen in the past recently. I could see City struggling to them as well. Whether or not they grab the win, I think they will struggle. But I'm going to go for the upset, quote-unquote. Atletico make it to the next round. Next up, Villarreal versus Bayern Munich. Now, as we stated, Villarreal were fantastic against Juventus. Honestly, very, very impressive second leg. But yeah, De Ligt is just like the ultimate round of 16 bottler. We saw him bottle it in the Euros, and he didn't perform so well against Villarreal. With all that being said, obviously Moreno is a fantastic striker, and he could possibly be hungry for this, but this is Bayern Munich we're talking about. I'm sorry, Villarreal, but Bayern Munich are just known for not slipping too much, especially against the underdogs. Such a giant in this tournament, and favorites for so many. I'm going to say in the first leg, it's a bit close. Not as close as RB Salzburg versus Bayern in that first leg where it was a draw. I'm going to say Bayern grab a 2-1 win, and then when they go to Germany, Bayern Munich grab a pretty comfortable 3-0 win.
Obviously, like we saw it when Bayern slipped up and they drew Salzburg away from home and then they absolutely blew them out. In Munich, I think this season, Bayern under Nagelsmann, it kind of hinders their full potential. Obviously, he's no Hansi Flick, and Bayern have had tremendous defensive issues this year too. I think in the last 8 or so games, they've conceded like 8 or 9 goals. I think the last clean sheet they kept was like Eintracht Frankfurt away. And besides that, they lost like 4-2 to Bochum away from home, and like they've just been leaking goals. But obviously this is a Champions League tie, and you have to put Bundesliga aside and everything. Like you can put that same thing in mind for Villarreal. I think out of all the games I can see shock defeats for, it's this one.
What?
Listen, I think Unai Emery plays a very defensive game. I think Bayern have like Upamecano is absolutely horrendous. Like, granted, he probably won't even play. If anyone can knock Bayern out this year, I think it's Villarreal, just because of their game style. Unai Emery plays a very defensive-oriented football. He'll look to kind of hit them on the counter. But I can't see it happening. Like, the logical thing is, obviously, it's not going to happen. So I think I'm going to go for, like, a pretty, like, tremendous and hefty, like, big win for Bayern. I think it'll be 6-2 or 6-3 aggregate. I definitely see Bayern conceding goals, whether it's on the break or like set pieces, penalties, whatever it's coming from. I think they will concede and they won't like blow them out like 8-0. Obviously, it's like Champions League. I can't see it happening anyway. But I do back Bayern to get this tie done 6-2. However, I would love for Villarreal to prove me wrong, because I know Unai Emery, with his previous Arsenal success, Arsenal, I guess, non-success, I would like for him to, have a nice little run and like maybe go to the Champions League semi-final. It would be cool to see, and like I actually like Villarreal as a club. They have some really talented players, but Bayern are a European powerhouse. It's just gonna be one of those games where I think Bayern win like 6-2, 6-3 aggregate, and they get it done. But I would love for Villarreal to prove me wrong. I really would.
Yeah, the way you started all that, I really thought you were going to say Villarreal would actually pull the upset, which, I would love to see as well.
It's football, huh? Anything's possible, man, but it's like, you got to be realistic. I think Bayern they possess too much talent. One of those clubs that also play very attacking-oriented football.
Yeah, I wasn't even necessarily surprised that Villarreal were able to come out on top against Juventus. I was just surprised that the second leg was 3-0. I mean, absolutely crashed. But props to Villarreal. And like you said, Unai Emery is doing a great redemption story yet again. Won the Europa League in the past. Props to him. Quarterfinals in the Champions League is already an achievement, especially when you're coming up against a giant like Juventus. But this is Bayern Munich here. Good luck to Villarreal. Prove us wrong. Final matchup we're looking at. Chelsea versus Real Madrid. Now, this is an interesting one. Real Madrid were very victorious against PSG. Benzema, fantastic form. Luka Modric, brilliant. But Chelsea also are looking pretty fantastic as well. The one problem with Chelsea, though, is their sanctions right now with Abramovich. That could potentially play a huge part in this. Although they are currently ongoing, they haven't really slipped with the results yet. But they're basically just being inconvenienced a bunch. Like, they're not able to get proper travel, no fans, all that. So tough times for Chelsea Football Club, for sure. Tuchel has not lost in any of his 6 games against Real Madrid in the Champions League. Can Real Madrid finally go past? I think it's a tough task. I really do. After that match against PSG, I feel like Real Madrid's confidence are absolutely booming. The Champions League is just in their blood. I feel like they will come out on top on this. It's going to be tough times. Usually the Premier League teams go very, very far in the Champions League in recent history. And I know I already said City wouldn't go through, but I'm going to say Real Madrid are able to do it. I'm going to say in the first leg, it finishes in a 1-1 draw. And then when they go to the Bernabeu, Real Madrid scrape for a 1-0 win.
Tuchel, and obviously given his like win success against Real Madrid, it's very impressive. You can't count that out. I know I've disrespected Real Madrid against PSG, but like, PSG really fumbled that, and PSG looked to have been getting away with the win, and some defensive issues. Whether that comes down to how Pochettino organized his defense, or whether it comes down to lack of experience, but like, it's not that. It's just like PSG is just very inconsistent, and I guess a lot of people saw it happening. But I'm actually backing Chelsea, and I'm backing Tuchel. I know they have all these sanctions against them. They're in a really bad state, but from what I've read online and from what I've seen, everyone's motivated. Freaking Kai Havertz is offering to pay for flights to away trips and fuel for the bus, man. It is a crazy story, and if Chelsea can manage to get past Real Madrid, it's one to remember. I do think it'll be a tough draw. I think also I'm with you completely. I think it will end in a draw at Stamford Bridge, and I also think it will be very tight at the Bernabeu. I can see it going to penalties and extra time. And I'm actually going to go with that. I think this game is one of those games where, Tuchel will try to obviously do his thing. He's very defensive oriented. He knows how to structure his defense very well. Ancelotti's been a hit or miss with Real Madrid fans. I know a lot of them aren't too content with how he's coaching the team, especially after that first leg in Paris, man. They weren't too happy with him, but obviously he managed to overturn the result and get it done. But regardless of that, I am still backing Chelsea, and I'm backing Thomas Tuchel. Kai Havertz looks like himself again. I think Chelsea's defense is much more stable than Real Madrid's. Thiago Silva, always amazing as ever, as old as he is, 37, 38 years of age. He's always performing, man. He's an absolute rock at the back. I think Chelsea get it done, and I think this is going to be one of those games that actually goes to extra time and potentially penalties. If Kepa doesn't go in at a fumble like he did the last shootout, I think Chelsea will get it done in extra time or penalties, whatever it is. I can't really predict this game, but I think Chelsea will get it done, and I think they'll go to the semifinals of the Champions League.
Like you said, if it goes to penalties, I feel like Chelsea will be able to do the job. And this match is a flip of a coin. I'm not really comfortable with Real Madrid, honestly, because Chelsea have just been proving their worth. I think it's going to be very, very close. I don't want to doubt Chelsea at all. Like I said, Tuchel has a fantastic history against Real Madrid in the Champions League. So could well be wrong on this, but I see history being broken here. I just feel like it's going to be an interesting turnaround. And, like you said, even though all of the Chelsea players are motivated to do whatever they can, even Tuchel's motivated to just keep on going, even with these sanctions going on. And props to them for just having the highest spirit with all of it. I just see Real Madrid being able to take advantage of their situation slightly. Madrid will come out on top and have a decent Champions League run this. I don't know if they're the favorites to win the whole thing, but I could see them going a bit further, semifinals or possibly the final. But good luck to Chelsea.
Real Madrid have struggles from the right-hand side, in particular from Carvajal and Lucas Vazquez. They don't possess the qualities to kind of put an end to opposing attacks, but you have to keep in mind it's Mbappe running at them. It comes to a point where there's levels to it, but obviously Timo Werner is no Mbappe, but there's more to the game than scoring. Timo offers tremendous spacing. His movement is immaculate. He can just run in behind, and sometimes that's enough. And I think Carvajal will struggle again, and that's just one of those things where Carvajal will not be able to keep up. And we saw it hurt them against Mbappe, and we saw glimpses of Neymar on that left side, and also Neymar is not the quickest footballer anymore, but come on. And when you're putting Timo Werner in his perspective, and if he gets his shot, even Pulisic maybe even, man, it's gonna hurt the right hand side of Real Madrid, but I think it isn't enough to do concrete damage, which is why I think this game will be an even share of, I guess, spoils, and I think it will go to extra time. But I regardless of that, I have Chelsea going through.
No matter what happens though, I think it's going to be very low scoring. I have faith in Tuchel to put off a very solid fight. It's just going to be that narrow for me. Real Madrid coming out on top. But yeah, those are our predictions, guys. Thank you all for making it to the end of this video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Go check out Hasib. I'll leave his socials in the description below. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Oh, let us know your predictions in the comments below as well. Lá com nós.